that level of pain is the level of desire fulfilled waiting for you on the other side of the pain. Childbirth is one of the most painful experiences that any human could possibly experience. In the beginning of my YouTube journey, I created a video on my last labor and delivery process, the raw and real story of it, and it resonated with so many people. There was, in the analytics of the video, so many people going to the part where there was a lot of pain. And I think that the reason that people resonated with this video so much is because there is a deeper understanding of humans that pain is a very important part of life that transcends understanding in a lot of ways, but brings beauty and growth through it. Today, I'm going to be talking about how pain is good and beneficial in our lives, and how we can make it easier for us to cope with, to experience, so that we don't have to suffer through the pain, but we can experience it with strength and confidence and be able to grow from it, so we can be empowered to live the fullest life that we're meant to live, not hiding from the pain, because the pain actually produces greater results if we overcome the pain rather than sitting behind it. One of the most important aspects of my labor and delivery process was that I made it easier on myself. Through this pain that I was experiencing of childbirth, I was able to figure out what were ways that I could, by listening to my body, ways that eased my pain and allowed me to keep pushing through so that I could make it to the goal, which was bearing the child. Pain doesn't have to cause you to suffer. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is a choice. Pain during childbirth taught me many valuable lessons in life. So let's get into them. I want to briefly share my experience with childbirth so that everything I say from that point on will make sense. So I have 3 children. The first 2 I had in the hospital. The first one I had an epidural with because I didn't know how much longer I could endure the pain. The second one, I was determined to have a natural birth because with the epidural of the first one, I wasn't able to experience the joy of childbirth, and it all felt very disconnected. So I pushed through the pain with my second one, but there was no amount of preparation that could have prepared me for the pain that I was going to experience with my second one. I wanted to crawl out of my body. I was screaming at the top of my lungs, clawing at the nurses and my husband. It was a very dramatic scene. But I got to hold my baby in my arms. But with my third one, I wanted to do things much differently. I knew that there were many women before me that have been able to give birth naturally with little to no pain. And that seemed like a mystery to me. It seemed very far distant from my experiences previously. But I was curious to see if I could create that for myself. And I wanted to have a beautiful experience in the process of bringing a child into the world. And so I played with the idea of pain. I knew that the fluorescent lighting and the hospital environment was not conducive to a relaxed state for my body. I also knew that being hooked up to a bunch of IVs and cords and monitors was not going to create an ability for me to intuitively move my body where I needed to for the baby to come out with ease. I also knew that the ease of giving birth in water would produce less pain for me. So I set up this whole scenario of giving birth at my home. Christmas lights were up. Everything was dim and calm. I went into labor after the children were asleep. Unfortunately, we didn't get to fill up the birth pool in time for me to deliver because the delivery was faster than anyone expected. There were a few main factors that I feel like really contributed to it going quickly and almost with no pain. One was my ability to intuitively know how to move my body, and the other was being in a calm atmosphere. And I think another also was knowing that I had support there to help me if anything went wrong. And as I was pushing the baby out, she was coming very quickly. And I didn't realize that it was happening so fast. And I think that the reason why I screamed was because there was this feeling of disappointment and fear. because I was afraid that it would be more painful without delivering in water. My expectation, my hope, everything was set on me being able to give birth in water. It really had nothing to do with the level of pain that I was experiencing. It was my mindset and where I was in the midst of this physically laborious process. It was painful. I won't disregard that. Giving birth is extremely painful, but there are ways around the suffering of the pain that is experienced. I think the key aspect is that when I was able to move my body in a way that it intuitively needed to move so that the baby could come down the birth canal, I was tapping into the ability to reverse suffering. I was able to guide myself with the pain, through the pain. Just thinking about labor and delivery is like, whew. Once we realize this critical aspect of the process, everything becomes lighter and easier. Through this experience, I was able to learn about resilience and my body's limits and the capacity to have endurance. And one of the greatest lessons that I learned from this experience was that pain is a test to prepare us for what is to come. It's designed to prepare us, to strengthen us in preparation for our desires. The greater the pain, the greater the outcome. So childbirth is a perfect example of that. What is better, what is greater than giving birth, bringing new life into the world? And as a result, it is one of the most painful experiences any human can ever experience. So it goes hand in hand. If you're experiencing something right now that is so extremely painful and you feel like you just can't make it through, or it's so challenging you want to escape from it, just know that that level of pain is the level of desire fulfilled waiting for you on the other side of the pain. It's a test. So are you going to pass the test? Are you going to trust your body? Are you going to trust God? Are you going to trust the process of this growth and this transformation that is about to prepare you for what is to come? Pain is a natural part of life, just like childbirth, just like working out, ripping and tearing our muscles, just like puberty, just like change, just like dying to your old self, transforming yourself, and even just like seasons. It's painful to go through the season of winter sometimes, but it's necessary. The end is disguised as the beginning of something new. I'll say that again. The end is disguised as the beginning of something new. Nature has built-in mechanisms for growth and transformation, and pain is one of those processes. So if you're in a situation where you feel like you have to learn to be patient, being patient is not easy, I know. Patience plays a major role in labor. Trusting the process can be challenging, but it's part of the growth. And patience is just as important as taking action. And it doesn't always look black and white. Sometimes patience is waiting 10 minutes and then taking action. Sometimes patience is waiting 10 years and taking action. If I look back, it was impossible for me to not have pushed her out. Like, it was just happening. My body just went into complete automatic. It took over and it just push the baby out. So that is one of the most important things that I have learned from my labor and delivery process, is that you will know when to take action. It will be this compulsive, uncontrollable need to do it, to take action. And then the rest of the time is patience, is using your intuition to know what to do in those moments leading up to your desire fulfilled. If there's one thing that you take away from this video, it would be this. If you have to ask if it's time to push, it's not time. You will feel this compulsive need to push if it is the right time. Trust your intuition, slow down. That is very important when it comes to pain. If we are feeling any sort of pain, we want to slow down and listen to our bodies, listen to the messages around us, listen to the people that are sending us information, and see what it's communicating to you. See what you need to do to ease the suffering in your life, to flow with the process of life instead of rushing through it. Because if you rush through it, there's going to be a lot of rips, there's going to be a lot of tears, there's going to be a lot of pain, and there's going to be a lot of suffering. If we push before we're ready, then we might delay the process even further. Surrender and control are some of the most important things that you need to know about pain. Surrender to the pain and know when to control it. Know when you need to do something about it. Be open to the process of it. As you apply this to other areas of your life, you're going to start seeing balance in your life, which is what we strive for. We all strive to reach a place of homeostasis, of balance, because that's where the Creator rests, in balance, in presence. When we balance our effort and surrender, we feel a peace. We feel clicked in and in alignment with where we're supposed to be, and the suffering is released. When you take any painful situation in your life and you use it for transformation, you use it for growth and learning, you're going to be able to move on from that painful experience, whatever you're experiencing, and be able to reach your desire fulfilled. Because the pain is ultimately there to test us and prepare us for what is to come. My ultimate goal is to empower women so that they feel strong and confident in their bodies, to intuitively know how to live in alignment with their authentic self, so that they can live on purpose, fulfilled, and reach the desires that they have for themselves. And sometimes that happens through pain. Sometimes we experience pain in order to grow, in order to reach those desires fulfilled. The reason that you might not have what you desire right now is because you're avoiding the pain. I invite you to reflect on your own experiences and maybe share in the comments something that has happened to you recently that has been so painful, but you've been able to transmute it, transform it, or you're transforming it right now, and you just realized that it's something to be embraced and not something to be feared. And it's an empowering thing once we take control of it and use it for our growth and transformation through trust, surrender, and living in aligned action. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, anything that might add to this conversation, please leave it down in the comments below. I love you all, and I hope you have a blessed day.